Ad Council.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
Welcome to another edition. Been catching a lot of flack, at least in conservative radio anyway.
Fox. Your Fox people.
He's been catching a lot of flack this week because of the Easter service that he attended. At the service, and you'll read this for me, Miss McCrae. Yes. What was the name of the pastor at the service?
Reverend Louis Leon.
Louis Leon, whom listening to them talk, I actually assumed he was a black guy, but looking at the picture that she just showed me, what is he, a Spanish guy maybe?
I believe he's Hispanic.
Okay, so he's actually a Spanish guy. So president is catching flack from them because of a particular set of words that this particular pastor said during his sermon. Go ahead and read that for me.
He says, let me put it all in context. Quoting from John 20:1-18, Leon said, "In the same way that Jesus told Mary Magdalene not to hold on to him, it is time for conservatives to stop holding on to what he considers outdated stances in the matters of race, gender equality, homosexuals, and immigrants." His quote is, "It drives me crazy when the captains of the religious right are always calling us back. For blacks to be in the back of the bus, for women to be back in the kitchen, for immigrants to be back on their side of the border. Instead, people should have the Easter vision to allow them to see the world in a different and more wonderful way."
All right, so the president's catching flack because, obviously he went to this man's church on Easter Sunday, and then this was the message that this particular pastor decided to speak about in the middle of his Easter sermon. And so their criticism is, who in the world, what kind of pastor incorporates political speech into his Easter sermon? And then for the president to then go and listen to this man, which is sort of picking up on the whole Reverend Jeremiah Wright, right? Because that was the issue with Jeremiah Wright as well. Here he goes again, listening to this quote unquote, I don't know what you might call it, maybe say racial commentary in the middle of the sermon, which seems out of place in the Easter sermon. That's the criticism. 407-894-1680. Now, I was listening to this, and the reason why I'm commenting is because it's that thing that I think white conservatives will never understand about minority churches. Minority churches are, right or wrong, they are sort of the epicenter of the political power that minorities have, if you will. Because if you think about history, a lot of the things that happen, when it comes to voting, a lot of that stuff was started in somebody's church. And then in somebody's church, they had the rallies, they started the marches and blah, blah, blah. They did all the organization. And so especially when you're talking about older preachers, they haven't forgotten where all of that stuff came from and where the center was, and without the church, a lot of that stuff wouldn't have been started. And so I think white conservatives, because they don't understand the history of what the church has done for the minority community, always are up in arms about things that I think people who go to minority churches know this is the regular, not necessarily, it's, people may criticize him, he put it in the Easter sermon. Well, all right. If it didn't happen in the Easter sermon, go on fourth Sunday. It might happen in the fourth Sunday sermon. You know what I mean? But it's normal speech because we still are in the struggle. We still are, for the most part, trying to move beyond where history has brought us, if you will, if not physically, at least mentally. And so this is sort of commonplace. And this is one of those areas where I think it becomes an education point for those on the outside that don't go to these types of churches to learn that this is not about the president. This is not about sort of splicing this in to make it spicy on Easter sermon because the president's here. This is just a part of what minority churches do in order to inspire people to do more than perhaps what they're already doing. Any comments?
No, and I don't understand the criticism. Your buddies over at Fox, like what did they expect the president to do? He started speaking about this. Did he think they wanted him to get up? They said, "All right, come on, family, Michelle, Malia, Sasha, get up. We're leaving right now because this man is.
That was their comment. They would have left.
Really,
and never
really,
attended the church
really.
Again. That's what they said.
Okay, and so the next thing is the president left a church in the middle of a sermon.
Yeah,
he's a devil worshiper. The man can't win. He can't win. What do y'all want from him?
But like I said, I'm with you on this one. This one, I like I said, I think it comes from a place of ignorance and not understanding the position the church plays. And you know, hey, why? How could they understand? You know what I mean? They've never been around it. They haven't been exposed to it. So how could they understand that this is the sort of commonplace? This is the type of stuff you hear in minority churches, especially in the black community. Obviously, in this particular pastor who's Hispanic, clearly he has a tendency to do this as well. But this is commonplace, and like I said, it comes from a point of history. It comes from the fact that a lot of things, you think about the voting back in November. You had the movement where you had your church sermon and, churches across the city, came together and said, hey, we're going to meet at the voting booth right after the service today. You know what I mean? It starts in the church. It's just a natural part of things that happen in the church. And I understand why they don't get it. Because, if you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean? And I like to educate them on the things that they don't know.
You giving them a lot of leeway. They don't know, but they don't care.
Racism.
They don't care to know. They just don't like this man. Their agenda is to criticize any and everything he does.
Who is they?
Fox.
Oh, Fox.
These are his buddies. He got this information on Fox. Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, all those good people over there at Fox. That's where this story is coming from, because I hadn't really heard it anywhere else other than.
You gotta listen to conservative radio.
Thank you. Keyword, conservative radio, who has an agenda against our president. Like, really, J. Real? Really?
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's a great education, man.
Okay.
It's a great education.
I need you to pull away from the dark side. Come to the middle. It's beautiful here. It's beautiful to see both sides of the story.
It's a great education, man. But I'm going to move on. Like I said, I said my piece. I just wanted to just make that comment. Just put it out there, man, so that people understand. But the next thing real quick before we get to this poll, talking about ignorance, hip-hop. Ignorant Negroes in hip-hop. Ignorant Negroes
you got to go any further
hip-hop.
than that?
I mean, you knew they were ignorant.
Yeah.
But then they do something that lets you know how ignorant, how much more ignorant they are than you really thought they were.
I mean,
really
listen to a song. And
but
you can figure that out.
So this story relates around the popular rapper. His name is Rick Ross. So he has this new song, and in the song he has these lyrics. Let me read the lyrics first.
Please.
They say, "Put Molly all in her champagne. She ain't even know it. I took her home and enjoyed that. She ain't even know it." So Molly, for the ignorant people out there that don't know, and you there's no reason for you to know because if you're not taking drugs, so kudos to you. But Molly is a slang term for ecstasy. Okay,
no,
so that you probably
it's
know.
not.
It's not ecstasy.
No.
Well, what is it? I'm sorry.
Molly is a completely different drug than ecstasy.
Okay, what is it?
What it is the pure form of MDMA, which is the active drug in ecstasy.
Okay, pure form of MDMA, the active form of ecstasy. All right, form of ecstasy. So that's what that is. So basically, he's gonna drug her, and people typically what ecstasy does, you take it, it causes you to pass out, and then once you passed out, you pretty much don't know what's happening until you get up. So he's gonna give this girl this Molly. He's gonna take her home. She's not even knowing it, and then he's going to enjoy that. So basically, he's going to take advantage of her while she's, knocked out under the effects of Molly. Okay, and here's the ignorant part of this. He claims that that's not rape because he didn't use the word rape. What he was saying is not rape. But if a girl is knocked out and is unaware of what's happening to her, and then you're doing something with her sexually, buddy, that's the definition of rape.
Thank you. This case just in Steubenville.
It's like, are you serious, bro? You 40 years old, bro. 40 years old, and I gotta explain to you what rape is because clearly at 40 you don't know what it is. Like I understand it's a song, but don't claim it ain't rape. You know what I mean? Like it don't even make no sense. Like I said, you understand how ignorant people are, but then they do something to let you know they were even more ignorant than you thought. Like I just blows my mind. 407-894-1680 is the number. You gonna say something? Mr. King's in the building.
I mean, I completely agree. I'm not a Rick Ross fan anyway, but yeah, it's just ludicrous. I don't understand how he doesn't know that that's what it is. He didn't write those lyrics, no way. So he just got to defend it. But you know, that's what happens when you don't write your own lyrics.
Okay. You know, to write them or not, if you said it, brother, it's yours.
You got to know what you're saying. Exactly.
If you said it, brother, it's yours.
Yeah.
And again, he's 40. This is not some young whippersnapper at 18 that's just ignorant. You know, you 40. So when you went in the studio, you know, and put this down or let somebody else put it down, whoever said it, you know, or wrote it or whatever the case may be, you know, I mean, come on. I mean, really? Somebody had to break that down. And then the crazy part is when he's offered or confronted on the issue, again, he goes on and his defense is simply, well, I didn't say the word rape, so people understand I wasn't talking about rape. Like, really?
Really?
That's it. I mean, not an apology, not well, I didn't say rape, so clearly people understand that it's not rape. And if anybody thought it was, that's clearly a misunderstanding because I didn't use the word rape. So obviously I wasn't talking about rape.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what one of those kids up in Ohio said. They said, well, you know, it wasn't violent, it wasn't forceful, so I didn't think it was rape. Really? You see this little girl, or in the Rick Ross case, somebody's passed out and you having your way with them. Not rape? That's what we're going with, Rick Ross?
I mean, in Rick Ross's defense, he does say much more worse things in his songs than that right there.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
In his defense, I mean, if that's what you want to get him on. He talks about, you know, killing people and selling drugs and all of these other things in his songs. So, you know.
Yeah, but the thing that to me put this more on the tip or kind of puts this more as a highlight is, you know, the talking about drugs, the killing people, you know, everybody's doing that.
Yeah, everybody's normal.
I mean,
now,
that's
right?
normal. You can't
Really?
you can't listen to a quote unquote hip hop song and then not
Who
hear
cares
that.
about that? No.
But to elevate it to actually describing rape, I mean,
we're used to hearing people talking about killing and selling drugs and all. We're used to that
unfortunately,
now.
they ain't had nothing else for the last 15 years. They've had absolutely nothing else to talk about.
Money and strippers now. But yeah, now we're talking about raping. So it's like, hey,
elevate. I mean, rape though.
He's
come on,
taking
man.
it to another level, and that's all that he's trying. He's trying to upgrade his game and going from drugs, money, cars, sex, chains, rims, and killing people. Now he want to talk about rape. I mean, can he take it to the eighth element? Like, that's in his defense. That's all and he didn't even say rape. So he ain't even there yet. That's all I'm trying to say. He ain't even there yet. It's like they wasn't saying D-boy. They wasn't saying all of these things on the radio. Now they can say it on the radio. So he's just opening up the gate so I can say I raped her. That's all. It's okay. We're used to everything
He
else.
certainly thinks so, brother.
I mean, that's what he's saying. Basically, I've been
so.
talking about killing. I've been talking about drugs. My name is Sam, but I'm talking about this dude named Rick Ross, who's really named Rick Ross, Freeway Ricky Ross. I'm taking his lifestyle. I'm doing everything. I'm talking about it. So why y'all ain't saying nothing about none of that? But when I don't say the word rape, y'all want to say something about that. That's all he's trying to say.
Ignorant Negroes.
Well, you know, they paid him $50 million to do.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's the sad part about it. That's a form of slavery. They got this
powerful
dude who got all this money, who owns Universal, says, I'm gonna pay you to go out there and act the idiot and make kids act the idiot because they watching you act the idiot. And that's what he's doing. I mean, he's just like, you know, well, give me the money. I'm 39 years old. I ain't got nothing in life. Give me the money. And that's what he's doing. You know, I didn't write those lyrics, so I really can't defend it. That's the best I can do.
I'm going to make an album. I think that's what I want to do.
Bill Cosby did it.
I want to make an album of just foolishness and maybe a social experiment just to see the craziest stuff I can put out there, tight beats, and just put out ridiculousness.
As long as it's on a
goes.
hot beat.
As long as it's on the hot beat.
You
That's
can
all
say
that
pretty
matters.
much anything on a hot beat
That's
and
all
make
that
it on the
matters.
radio.
Even people lie to themselves and be like, I just listen to the beat. I like the beat. You're lying, but it sounds good to say that lie. And it's
Yeah.
okay. I mean,
And it happens to me. It's songs I cannot stand, but after hearing it, I find myself just mouthing the words. I'm like, I didn't even know I knew this song.
subconsciously.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Two
I know.
hemispheres of your brain.
That's
I
why
have
they-
to stop listening to
That's
certain
why they
stuff.
beat it over your head. That's why they play it 80 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is why I listen to conservative talk radio.
Oh my God. That's
Which is
even more
even
poisonous.
Yeah,
That's poison.
there are gospel stations out there to listen to,
Like this one.
like WOKB 60.
Like this one right here. If you're listening, you're doing a great job. You
And
pat
shout out to
yourself
Glenn
on the back.
Allgood and Chris, y'all. Y'all keep
No.
it going all day.
Jazz.
There's-
There's some other things.
There are other things out there.
That we
Because
can
talk
listen
radio
to.
is the same thing
I'd
just
rather
with
listen to talk
adults.
radio.
Poison.
But
Basically.
I
Yeah,
have, I have a
man.
rant too. I just want to talk about.
oh, you have a rant, brother.
Oh yes.
Please share.
Go right ahead, brother. What's your
What's
rant?
up?
So I
Mr.
was
King.
watching television, and I saw this commercial with a famous actor in it, and he's from overseas. Eldris Elba, how you say his name?
Idris
It-
Elba.
it's
Idris
just-
Elba.
You know Miss McCray now.
Yes,
Yes.
the women know him.
Yes.
And that was the pawn that was
Very
placed in this
attractive.
commercial. So in this, it's a new Acura commercial, I think, that he's in. He's in a new car. They're doing some 007 type thing. Nobody recognizes the car because it doesn't look like the older body model of the car. So the thing that they kind of got to my attention in the car is the drone that was in the commercial that they're using to chase this car to find him. So they're using a drone in the commercial and they're trying to blow up this car. But then they send these police officers down and they can't find them because they don't know what the car looks like. But the drone is following him and he cannot shake this drone in this commercial. And that kind of just blew my mind of like, wow. There it is right there. You got this famous guy that the fellas know because we know his face because he's in a lot of popular movies. The ladies love him. And then you got the drone that ain't nobody paying attention to, but it's right there in your face showing you how it's going to be. We're going to be following you, watching your every movement, and you can't shake us because we not in here. You blow up that one drone, we got another drone that's going to come. And the commercial popped it off. And that's how they do. What you said about it, Brother Real,
They introduce stuff to you.
No, you just said it about the other comment. I just forgot what it was. But yeah, that's what they're doing. They're introducing it in a commercial movie type thing. It was already in a movie. I forgot what the movie was. It was a Jason Bourne movie with Alex Cross. But
Recently, Olympus Has Fallen.
it was in that movie also?
They used a drone in that
Yeah,
movie
he
as
used a
well.
drone in that movie.
I have to see that movie.
Don't tell us all the movies.
Well, I'm sorry. My bad. But
Everybody
yes.
hasn't seen it.
Well, when it comes to drones, like it, love it, hate it, drones will be a part of our future.
They're coming.
I don't know what. When you think about as far as military, they're already a huge part of the military. A lot of the attacks that took place, especially from an aerial view, in Iraq and Afghanistan, were done by drones. So they're a huge part of what we're doing in the military. Because you can send this plane out with no man in it, and then control it from some far off place so that you're reducing the risk of injury for our soldiers. And so, that's why they're using drones in war. But, it's only a matter of time before they use it at some point in police work and things of that nature. It is what it is.
No.
It's a sort of scary
No.
thought, but
No,
let's
I'm
be
sorry.
honest.
I'm
It is
sorry.
what it is,
No.
brother.
That's the problem with the people like you that listen to conservative radio. It is not what it is. You have the power to change that. I am so sorry that you feel that it is what it is. But no, it is not is what it is. That's why I'll stand up for what you believe in and do something about it. It is not what it is. Please do not listen to Brother J. Real. It is not what it is, okay? You do not have to live that way. That's why you have a voice and you speak up as the forefathers before us did. It don't put in your mind that it is what it is. That is the wackiest thing that this intelligent brother has said tonight. So please ignore that comment. He does not know what he is thinking right now. But we have that right, and we have the ability to stand up and do something about it before it takes control and takes over. And that is what my rant is about, ladies and gentlemen. Please call in 407-894-1680. Brother Shine, where you at?
Brother King, what would you have us do to change this?
The same thing we do with the stand your ground law. The same thing we do with everything. We protest, we stand up as a people, and we try to get things done. That's the same thing. There's nothing else that we can do. If it happens, at least we tried. We didn't turn our back and be like, it is what it is. And then once everything hit the fan, it's like, well, what did you do to stop it from hitting the fan? All I did was turn around and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that is not what we need to do.
I hear you,
we didn't do that in the past. If we would have did, well, we can't vote. It is what it is. Women don't get paid enough. It is what it is. No, we stood up, we said something about it. And that's what we're trying to do now. And that's what the purpose of the show is. Am I correct?
That is, sir.
Oh, okay.
Drones.
I thought so.
Drones, to stop them. To stop, man. We appreciate that, Mr. King.
I mean, yeah. I had to say, I saw that, and it just hit me deep and down in my spirit.
I see, brother. I see. I know that's right up your lines, though. That's
because it's right there in your face. It's like the yellow brick road.
All right, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get into this survey. I want time to run out on this. I want to get into this survey. So, like I said, the survey was conducted by Robert Johnson. He is the founder of BET. And he, with the help of Zogby, he did a poll. They polled about 1,002, I think they said, African Americans. So here was the point of what he was trying to do. He says he commissioned a poll for a number of reasons. He says, first, African Americans have experienced a historic political event. Of course, we've elected first black president, President Obama. It says that is the election and re-election of the first African American president, Barack Obama. Because of this, he says he wanted to find out how African Americans feel about Obama's presidency, as well as if they feel their lives are better off having lived under the first 4 years of the president, and also the prospect of what they expect over the next 4 years. Says the second thing he wanted to address, he says the country has obviously experienced one of the worst economic downturns since the Great Depression, which has hit African Americans very hard, as we know. African Americans continue to have double the rate of unemployment, less access to capital, whereas African Americans were once the largest ethnic minority group and the dominant political voice. We're now being confronted with the growing political influence of the Hispanic population, which of course has a direct impact on the competition for jobs and minority business opportunities. And he says, furthermore, he wanted to create a discussion within the black community and broader community to bring to the forefront of public debate key issues of primary concern to African Americans. And he says he was intrigued by the results. So what are the results? Now, the first thing he found, which is really no surprise, is that the president has a 91% approval rating amongst those that were polled in this particular survey. So 91% approval rating, that one doesn't shock you. 96% of African Americans voted for him in the last election, in both elections for that matter. So no surprise, 91% think that he's doing an awesome job. 407-894-1680. I want to hear what the audience thinks. Do you agree with some of these statistics that we're going to be reading tonight? Do you disagree? That's kind of what I want to hear. I want to hear from you guys. I don't know if any of you were randomly polled in this in the survey in the city of Orlando and thereabout, wherever you are. But I want to hear from you. What do you think? 91%, though, that one is not shocking. Most African Americans, for whatever reason, like him, hate him, you're proud that he's in the office. I mean, is that the consensus? Don't you agree? 407-894-1680.
Well, as always, I get polled all the time. 'Cause don't we all?
Okay, so you again.
The sarcasm.
but I mean, you agree with that statistic? I mean, it makes sense. That one doesn't surprise you, right?
No.
Not at all. Not at all. Nothing surprising about that stat. So one of the other ones that got me, it said 62% of the people polled are optimistic about employment over the next 4 years. Now, this is the one that got me. 62% of the people are African Americans. Again, these are all African Americans that were polled here. 62% say they're optimistic about employment over the next 4 years. Now, that one got me because I'm going to be honest. I'm not optimistic. Where we are now is where I expect us to be in 4 years. And the main reason why I say that is, as evidenced by what's going on around us, the unemployment rate has pretty much been relatively the same for the last 2 years, relatively. The unemployment rate for blacks has been the same for the last 2 years. And there's nothing happening in the general economy that causes you to believe that there's going to be any kind of change happening anytime soon. There's nothing happening. Would you agree? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So to say 62% of people believe there's going to be different.
We got the faith.
Is that what it is?
We have hope.
Is just
that
hope?
it's going to turn around, that things are going to turn around.
Don't take much.
You can't give up.
Is that what it is?
You got to hope for the best.
I mean,
so reality doesn't matter.
There are reports, though.
See, well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
One report, though. There are reports that the housing market is starting to come back, which then leads into some other things. Now, that was just released last week, that the housing market is starting to come alive again. So, hey, come on, man. I know you don't like our president, but you got to have some kind of faith.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680. Call me. 62%. Is that what we believe out there, people? Do we really believe that employment is about to get so much better in the next 4 years? Go ahead, sir. What you going to say?
I was going to say, I'm just piggybacking on what Ms. McCray was saying. It's about faith. You can't, as believers, if we just went off what we see, where would we be?
Amen.
Isn't that the definition of faith? Believing what you can't see. It's not about that. That's why. See, that's what to me personally. I don't get caught up in statistics and what they're saying this and what they're saying is that, because half of that is scare tactics anyway, to drive prices in certain directions, to manipulate the stocks for certain people. You know that. So you can't pay attention to that stuff anyway. But at the end of the day, you got to have faith. And even if it's quote unquote jobs don't be this way or that way, that doesn't mean it has to affect you that way. For all the pessimistic people out there, if you don't believe that it's going to get better, guess what? It's probably not going to get it better for you. But as for me, I'm going to be all right.
Okay, well, but here's my I'm with you on faith and believers and believing that God has a plan for you, and despite what may be going around in the country, that for you that plan is going to be different. I'm with you on that. But what we're talking about here is a statistic that is based off of facts. Okay, and this particular statistic has been factually true essentially for the last 50 years. 50 years, the black unemployment rate has always been double that of the white unemployment rate for 50 years. So that again, what is happening during this particular president's reign that makes us believe somehow that number, which has stood true for 50 years, is changing? That's my question. I'm with you on the whole religion and believing that God has a plan for your life and that your life is not necessarily dictated by what's happening in the government. I'm with you on that. But everybody ain't got that plan. And everybody don't believe in God like that. Everybody's faith is not that strong. So I'm not talking about the faith of the individuals that have faith in God and know what God is capable of and believe in God. I'm talking about just African Americans in general. And seeing that 13.8% unemployment rate, which is what it is as of February, come down to, I don't know. Can it get down to 10? Can it get down to 7? 7 would be awesome. But, that's not realistic either. But, just decrease, just so that we see a significant dip in that unemployment rate. And so the question is, 62% of the people thought that the president is doing something that's going to change that. And I'm just curious, what is it that you're seeing? It's got to be, faith and hope and all that is great. But what are you seeing? What do you see that's going to really cause a change? That's my question, because I don't see anything. He can't motivate people to come to make decisions. He can't do that. And you can blame that on whatever you want to blame it on, but he's not able to do that. And so in all of this turmoil, what do you see that for overall African Americans, whether they believe in God or not, what's going to help bring that down? I don't see the 62%. I'm just curious. 407-894-1680. What do you people see other than some hope and faith? You got to see some policy. You got to see some movement. It's got to be more than just some hope and faith. You've been having hope and faith for 50 years, and you ain't seen no change.
I haven't had hope and faith for 50 years.
So we've been hoping and faith in 50
we have
years.
Seen, we have seen change in 50 years. We have seen change in 50 years.
Thank you, Jeremy.
I don't know about you. I've seen change in my short 30-something years.
I'm with you, brother. There has been change, brother. I'm just saying.
But as far as what have we seen? Just certain different policies is when you're talking about the healthcare things and
so healthcare is going to bring the.
I didn't say that. Let me finish, bro.
I'm talking about unemployment rate right now.
Let him finish. Let him finish, J. Real. Dang.
But different policies are in place that over time will take effect, and it will have a ripple effect. But then also that at the end of the day, the economy is not going to stay down forever. It has to rebound to a certain extent. It may fall again. Well, it will fall again. That's just the nature of business. There are peaks and valleys. So it's going to climb a little bit and it's going to drop a little bit in maybe another 8 years or so. That's just how it's going to happen. But as far as being better, I just believe it's going to get better. And then, like I said,
so you believe that unemployment rate will come down significantly?
I didn't say it will come down significantly.
Okay.
I say it'll get better.
Okay.
Significantly, that's a whole lot of stuff has to happen. First of all, you got to have that 10% that want to have jobs. So that ain't got nothing to do with no policy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, actually, for people who are so discouraged on the economy that they don't even search for jobs, which is the people you sound like you're talking about, they don't count that. So those people aren't even counted.
Now, let me ask you, how do they not count that?
You have to ask the people who calculate these numbers, but they don't count that.
Exactly. Back to what I was saying. Don't pay attention to statistics.
When you're giving up on employment. But by those standards, the unemployment rate would actually be higher. That's what I'm saying.
The unemployment rate actually is higher.
I know it's higher, but I'm not addressing that because I ain't got time for that. But I'm just talking about what the people that they are counting right now. That's all I can deal with, people who are being counted. But you're right. There's a lot more people that are being counted that are unemployed. But again, the question simply was, and if you're saying healthcare is going to help bring
I didn't
jobs,
say healthcare. I said
I'll say it. This bill, I said it.
Now I would say yes, because it will allow other people to get a little more active. And then let's just be honest, y'all. Some of this stuff is because people don't want certain jobs. There are jobs out there. Some people just don't want them jobs. Let's just be honest. If we all got laid off right now, and they called you from a particular hotel and said, "Hey, I know you just got laid off. I know this is what you do, but I pay you $8 an hour to come clean rooms." Raise the hands who take it. I ain't seen nobody hand go up. See, that's what I'm trying to say. I heard this great comedian say one time, a check is a check.
How many hours I'm gonna get?
Is a check. 40 hours, dog. Full time.
Cleaning rooms?
Cleaning rooms.
Now, see, I'll take that because you never know what you're going to find.
Okay. All right.
But my point is, sometimes you got to humble yourself. If you don't have nothing, you got to take something.
I agree.
If you say, well, I can't work 40 hours. I can work part-time. That way I still have time. I mean, obviously you can go tell them so they have time to find another job. But you say, hey, I can work part-time just to have some kind of money coming in. Maybe you can do that. But it's just amazing, like I said, when people don't have nothing, how they won't take this because they don't want to do that. But right now they don't have nothing.
I agree. You're right. People do that. People do that. Okay. That I was just throwing it out there, brother. Just throwing it out there. I'll read some more of these stats, brother. I'll read some more.
I ain't in the stats. You can
like
go ahead and
stats.
read them. We got to show it.
You know it's his thing.
I like stats, brother. Stats say a lot, though, man. It helps you understand where
They
people
say a
are
lot.
thinking.
They may not
It
mean a
helps
lot, but
you
they
understand
say a
what
lot.
people are thinking, man. which is the whole point of what Robert Johnson was trying to do here, is to understand where African Americans are mentally, generally speaking. Obviously, 1,000 people don't represent the whole African American community, but man, that's how polls are done. You can't certainly poll 10 million people and get their
There's a
opinion.
movie about that now.
It's not really
doing
possible.
baseball stats or something like
It's
that.
not realistic. So talking about some more of the stats here. So another one of the things interesting here is just 30% of the people surveyed thought financially they're doing better than they were 4 years ago. About 25% say they're African Americans in general are doing better. 44% said they were doing about the same. There's no, I mean, obviously, no matter who the president is, some people, if you're doing the right things, you're going to increase. And that's what, I think that's the takeaway. If you're doing the right things, your situation will increase no matter who's in office. And it really doesn't matter when it comes to that. If you got a business and you got a solid business and there's clients out there for your business, then there's a way for you to make your business successful. And you're going to do better. I don't care. People may not be able to get jobs, but if your business is applying or supplying a service that's needed, you'll be successful even in the downturn. So that's what it's about finding a niche, man. And that's a key point for anybody. Find your niche, work your niche. And if you work that niche, man, you can make it, man. That's the thing. So that was interesting. Some other things, race relations. 53% said having the president in office would improve white and African-American relations. What do you guys think about that? 53% say that having him there is going to improve relations amongst the races. That was another one. I was like, yeah.
What's the number again?
53%.
I don't believe that. I think having him there.
23% said they disagree with that one.
I think having them there makes it worse because now everybody in the office you want to talk more. You want to talk more about the president is this and that, but it's always going to come. It always gets back to race with the black president. At some point, it always just finds its way in there some kind of way.
It does, but then it's twofold. It's obviously it's bringing out the worst, but the man still got elected. So there is some type of progress that we can't ignore. All right. So there's some type of unity that's going on in this country. And then there's definitely division. So it's a catch-22.
But, the thing that I wonder is it so much unity or is just a lot of it, there's a lot of white Democrats that just as much as black people hate Republicans. And so, not so much that, he was their guy, but they didn't have any other guy, And so, I mean, who else are they going to vote for? So, because obviously if you're, again, there's lots of people that run in the presidency, but typically it's coming down to two people, the Democrat and the Republican. So, I mean, yes, you have other options, but, if you really don't want to see that other guy, then you got to vote for, the other guy. And I think you have a lot of that too, because when you look at the numbers of the actual people that were voting, the end result was still, it was still a couple of million people off, which when you consider there's 300 million people in the country and approximately, a little over 100 million people, well, it's a little maybe 120 million people voted, there's a lot of what ifs out there. that could have sent this thing in either direction. But so I think you have both. You know, you have people who are accepting of him, but I think you have some people, just like you have on the other side, those people who may be voting because he is black and they don't want to see him get in. I think you have some of that. Well, he may be a white guy, but he was a Mormon, and you know, he's Mormon, and you know, you can't put a Mormon in the White House. You know, you got that out there too, and so I don't necessarily know how much, you know, his election changes that. You know, I think you look at it in the political speech of the day when you describe him and what you hear about his descriptions. I think that's how you tell. And when I look at that coming from the right, we'll ignore that for a moment, but from the left, it's more that it's that rock star. That's what I get, really. I get that rock star mentality. You know what I'm saying? They're just excited to see this black guy who can quote unquote mesmerize people, and they're just excited for that. You know what I mean? Which is that rock star mentality. It's sort of like even with the First Lady, Michelle Obama. She's a rock star. I don't care what you say. And she's a whole lot more popular.
So she's a rock star. She's a superstar.
She's a celebrity.
She's a
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't loop
she's
rock
a
star
celebrity.
into it.
You know, celebrity, rock star, they're all the same.
Fantastic.
No, they're not.
She's a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? And I see that in him. You know, just in his descriptions, because I mean, policy's policy. You know, like I said, he hasn't really said anything different than anybody else before him. But you know, he just carries that celebrity. He's that cool guy that you want to have a beer with, as they like to say so often. You know, and
I don't drink, so.
They said that about Bush, though. They're like, oh, he's a good old boy that you want to have
the other side,
a beer with.
Maybe, but I'm just saying that's that celebrity style that he comes from. So I don't know, but I don't really see it like you say. I see it more paralyzing because of the effect that he has. And you know, for us, you know, for the most part, we're gonna love him regardless. As long as he don't go up there and call us Negroes, you know, he's gonna be straight. He's gonna be straight. You agree, right? 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Now, some of the other reasons why he even wanted to ask this question. So we talked about the differences in the unemployment rate, but there's also huge rate differences when it comes to wealth as well. And so when you look at the wealth gap,
That's crazy.
Wealth gap, Black Americans on average over the last 20 years has increased their wealth by $20,000, whereas white Americans have increased their wealth by $90,000. So there's a $70,000 gap in there. When you consider, you know, investments, $70,000 makes a huge difference. Even when you're talking about net worth, the average white household, $118,000. The average African American household, $11,800. So there's almost $100,000 difference in the net worth. I mean, to me, you know, those are the numbers that really hit you. You know, like wow, you know, and then you wonder again why we are where we are. You know, and a lot of it, you know, has to do with the fact that a lot of them had an early start. You know, because in the 50s you weren't, or you know, in the early 1900s you didn't have a whole lot of money, quote unquote, to be investing per se. And then moving into the 50s, you still might not have had as much, but now you're in the 2013 where, you know, you think about the stock market. The stock market is booming, you know, and for the most part, we're afraid of the stock market. Generally speaking, you know, I'm a fan, but most people are afraid. They're afraid because of all the differences that occur in the stock market, and so it's usually something we shy away from, you know, that's one of the core issues that as blacks that we're going to have to work on and get over that fear of the market and really begin to delve and understand, you know, the different ways that one can be successful in it, even in its ups and its downs, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, houses is where we built our net worth for the most part, is owning a home and then that home attaining value. But as the last 5 years has shown us, that's not always going to be there. And if it is, you know, it could drop out on us at any moment. And then so that there's going to have to be some other means.
But couldn't you say the same thing about the stock market?
You can say it, but the cool thing about the stock market is its lows are even greater for you than its highs. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680.
If y'all can see
Just to give
Jeremy's
you,
face
just to give you an
right now.
example, bro. I'm gonna give you an example.
I mean, okay.
When you know, one of the things that I looked at when the whole big crash thing happened, bank stocks were down to $1 and $2. Bank stocks.
I know what you're saying. Go snatch them up cheap.
Bank stocks are now $40 to $50. So if you had anything that you can invest, you know, when it goes down, it's coming back up. That's the cool thing about it. It always comes back up, and you have to. You gotta remember it's a long-term investment. It's not for today. It's for 30 years from now. And so if you did what you started 30 years from now, 30 years later, it's a win-win situation. You know, 50 years from now, it'll be even a better situation. You know, don't ask me. I'm ignorant.
Well, hold on now.
Ask John D.
If it's a
Rockefeller.
better situation, then
Ask John D.
how's
Rockefeller.
How's the stock market going to increase
ask
if
the
they ain't got no
president.
job?
Ask the president.
How we going to invest if we ain't got no jobs? You just said the job market ain't going to be good.
Again, brother, it's not about having a whole bunch. It's about consistently doing something. That's key, man. You got to start, and once you start, you got to be consistent. And it goes from there. But we're gonna do a whole show on that, brother. And like I said, don't take my word for it. I'm ignorant. I say a lot of crazy stuff. I'm the conservative crazy brother. But you know, I don't know too much. But it's not about the short haul. It's about the long haul when it comes to that. I see we have a caller. How you doing tonight, T Green?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What's your comment tonight?
Well, I first want to give a shout out to Phyllis McCrae. I think she does a great job one time.
Hi, my
but
friend.
Also,
hi,
Miss
man.
McCrae
How
is
you doing?
awesome.
But also, I wanted to make a comment in regards to what you were just saying about investing in the stock market. The unfortunate part is, as great as it is and an effective tool that it can be for investing for the future, most people do not think of generational wealth. And so, because they are wanting something more instantaneous, creating wealth over a period of time and having patience like that 20, 30-year window or time span is not something that's desirable. That's first off. Secondly, if you don't know about it and you're ignorant to it, then you're going to go with what's out there now. And so, unfortunately, there are not enough financial literacy programs out there to help people understand who do come into money. Because if you watch athletes or if you watch, artists, they spend their money quick and fast.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And they flaunt the fact that they spend it quick and fast. And so no one's thinking about Ken Chenault. They don't care about him. They don't know who he is. No one's thinking about Derek Lewis. They have no idea who these people, that guy is. Or they're not following Earl Graves' his philosophy and trying to get more people to be financially literate. They're trying to spend it just like they see it on TV.
I agree.
And waking up in their new Bugatti, which, of course, none of those people can actually afford, in my opinion.
Ma'am, you listen to Future, don't you, ma'am?
I know the song.
Somebody done told
you're
her
having
they
dreams about waking up in a new Bugatti.
For those listeners who, may listen to Future and may not be thinking so far ahead or down the road, someone's got to tell them, and maybe they're not listening to me or whatever, but someone's got to tell them you're not going to be waking up in a Bugatti. And you're probably not going to have the money to be able to afford it in the more immediate future if you don't plan now or later.
Some of them can't even spell it.
You're right.
How about that?
That's another issue. But
and I'm a car buff, so you get like 7 miles to the gallon. So it's not even like economical.
No,
7 miles to the gallon to go in a V12 or whatever. 7 miles to the gallon? Yeah, not worth it. I'll go for a Chevy Cruze, 42 miles per gallon.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
We appreciate those comments, T Green. What
Thank you
say?
for calling.
Thank you. All right, y'all have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Well,
What you gonna say, Jeremy?
I would say a lot of it too is, see, a lot of our people, we don't see ourselves, if we feel like if we're not going to live long enough to enjoy it, why are we doing it? You know, like you said, people not thinking about the 20-year plan, the 30-year plan. Some of us can't see ourselves living that long, you know? So it's like, why would I do it? I'd rather try to do something that's going to make me money, or at least give me a little something in maybe 5 years, and maybe I have some money to enjoy before I go, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But because like she said, we're not thinking about generational wealth.
I agree, and it's gonna take an education. It's gonna take I even think it might even take a generation of education to really
I agree with that.
To really change and affect things. But these are the conversations that I think that we need to have in the community, and that we need to be consistent with, so that again it becomes one of those things. Just like, you know, you listen to that song that you hate, and then the next thing you know, you're quoting the lyrics from it. You know, we need to, you know, preach, you know, finance, and then eventually you may hate to hear it, but it's gonna click. And it's going to click, and you're going to, you know, potentially do something about it. Like I said, maybe not today. I may not convince your mom today to do something about it, but maybe I might be able to convince your daughter, or maybe your granddaughter, and then hopefully that can start that change, because it has to start, and then once it's started, it has to be passed along. Once it's passed along, then it can become a part of the nature. But it's one of those things that you're right, we do lack an education in, and we need to focus and get focused on that education, because that is the key. That is the key to our future. It is the key to our future. But one last comment I wanted to make about the poll. It asks about black leaders nationally for America. Who speaks for black Americans? 40% said nobody spoke for them. Now, the next closest person to actually have, you know, a name was Al Sharpton. And 24% said Al Sharpton spoke for them. I just want to hear y'all comments on that one. 407-894-1680. Do you agree? Does Al Sharpton speak for black America?
No. Sorry about that.
No.
Not at all.
Not
The
solely.
poll, they told you.
Not solely.
You like numbers?
He has a voice, obviously. He continues to be in the media, but I don't think he is the leading voice of African Americans. No.
I think he's the leading voice of African Americans. I don't think but what it is for.
Okay, you're right. He's probably
the leading voice, but he doesn't speak for most of us, though.
Is he a good advocate, if you will? What do you think about it? Is he a good advocate for black America?
I don't know. To me, it would probably just depend on what he's speaking about at the time. Now, if something happened with the police, yeah, that's who you need to call. Straight up. That's who you need to call. You know, you call everybody you want to. That's who I'm calling. You know,
Can't call Johnny no more.
you know. So, but maybe some other issues. Maybe, you know, I'm not caring so much about what he has to say. So,
yeah, my biggest issue with Al Sharpton today is he doesn't have an independent voice. He's riding the coattails of whatever the popular message is, or the message that's being sold, you know. And then he has no questions. He don't question it. He just rides along with it like it was the gospel, you know, from Jesus Christ himself.
Well, I mean, who's to say he doesn't agree? Like, why does he have to be riding the coattail? Why can't these also be his thoughts too?
But as a leader, a part of, you may agree with something, but you're still supposed to have an analytical presentation of what it is. And in everything, like I said, my problem is it's everything. It's, you know, everything ain't good. You know what I mean? Nobody's right 100% of the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at some point you have to have something he's got to say make you go, I don't know about that one, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with Al Sharpton, you know, currently, again, he's ride or die. It's everything he says is like the gospel. You know what I'm saying? And everything that comes down the pike is like, yeah, that's what it is, you know? And that's what I question, why I question his leadership, because he's not leading. He's just agreeing and selling whatever his message is supposed to be sold at that time. You know, there's never ever an analytical presentation other than what the message is, you know? And that's why I question him, just because, again, there's no analytical presentation by him. It's all just, here's the word that they're selling today. So let's keep preaching it so that the people get it. And it used to, I don't feel it used to be that way. I think that really happened when President Obama got into office. I think before he was a lot more analytical about the things that came down the pike. But since President Obama's been in office, he's just been, again, whatever he says is the gospel. And I question that. That's not leadership. You can't agree with everything the president says. Nobody does. I mean, you love the president, Ms. McCrae, but I know you do not agree with every decision that he said and made and statement. That's just not. It's not real. It's not real. That's not keeping it real, Brother Al. So that was my last comment. I know we're down to a couple minutes. I just a real quick note. I talked about the Bible a couple weeks ago, the series that was going on. It ended this past Sunday. I just want to say, if you haven't seen it, I know they put out the DVD today, I believe.
Go see White Jesus.
Check it out. Forgetting what color he was.
Go see the devil Obama.
Forgetting what color he was, the messages and just a reminder of what the faith that they had in the Bible. Seeing and reminded that these people were in the desert. They were in the desert with cloth tents, and they had faith in what God could do. We're in 2013 with cell phones, cars, gas, running water, electricity, and sometimes we don't have the faith of these people who are walking around in the desert 40 and 50 miles just to get to the next town. And that was the thing that really, kind of came across and just the highlight that I want to say about.
So why you ain't got no faith in the economy then?
Because the economy is not totally controlled by God, if you will. But there's a lot of men who ain't been led by God in the economy. But anyway, just that last little point, man. Just see it for that. Just a reminder of the faith that those people had in the Bible and the faith that we can have in 2013, man. Just that last little nugget before we exit the show tonight, man. I appreciate y'all for listening. As always, we'll be back here next week, same time, 9 p.m. Real Family Talk. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. Real Family Talk. Check us out. Check out the website. We love y'all. We thank y'all for listening. Y'all got any last comments, guys?
Look out for them drones.
Look out for them drones.
Love everybody. Thank you for listening.
Go
Thanks,
Knicks.
T Green.
Hey, let's send a prayer out to Kevin Ware, man, from Louisville, man. He snapped his leg in half, man. We pray for him, man.
Yeah. See you next week, y'all.
Bye.
Drone.
You can follow us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. You can follow us on Twitter, Real Family Talk. The website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.